It is my first panel ever, and it means a lot to me that you can be here today, and that you all have such an interest in anime tourism. So, what is this panel about? I'm Shoba. That's my screen name, but I also go by Alpha, which is my real name. It is my real legal name that I was born with, which is a whole other interesting story that we can talk about later. But I am a background and a comic illustrator. This is some of my work on the screen. I primarily focus in drawing Vancouver in a very Shinkai Makoto style, and I love showing different parts of our city that maybe you haven't seen them in this way before. Some notable works that I've done. A couple weeks ago, Studio Siat from Simon Fraser University debuted their first VTubers. Have anyone seen those? Nice. Okay, two, that's good. Anyone heard of the SFU VTubers? Okay, two. Well, now you know SFU did VTubers. They had a complete animated trailer, and I did the backgrounds for that as well. Yes?
UBC have one?
Pardon?
UBC have one?
I do not go to UBC, but if UBC would like to make a VTuber, you tell your UBC people that I am ready to work for them. So a lot of my work revolves around like drawing places such as SFU and like probably way prettier than they should be. And it's because I have a real love for place, and I have a real love for the way that place is depicted in media. And so that really ties into my love of anime tourism. If you want to learn more about my specific artwork, I'm going to have an interview with one of the VTubers, Mo Ayato, on April 1st. You can tune in at 5 p.m. on the Studio Siat YouTube channel, which is kind of crazy that SFU is now streaming on their YouTube channels. But it's going to be fun. Another thing I did the convention map for Annie Revo. This was 2 years ago, and I drew the little character in the background. And then they put the map up onto a display, and I was like, man, this is really cool. Are you going to throw the map out after you're done with it? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, can I just take it? And they're like, why not? So here's a picture of me taking the Annie Revo map. And I think this tells you everything you need to know about me as a person. So now that we are acquainted, what are my qualifications for speaking about anime tourism? I lived in Japan for about 5 months last year. I went there for exchange between April to the end of August. And if you know anything about Japan, you know that's when the year gets the most hot. So a lot of the things I will talk about have to do with weather. And we'll be sharing a lot of travel stories today. If they sound like, oh, this guy's being really dramatic, why is he exaggerating this? It's because it was 40 degrees outside. And I think that brings out the worst in you. So that's kind of my weeb badge of pride is that I was able to live in Japan. I've done a couple of anime pilgrimages there. The longest one was a Shinkai Makoto themed pilgrimage with a focus on his newest movie, Suzume. That was about a 2-week pilgrimage, and I went to almost every location in that movie. And along the way, I learned a lot of things. I thought it was very fun, and I thought, man, I want to share this with other people. All right, so what is an anime pilgrimage? Does everyone in this room know what an anime pilgrimage is? Show of hands. Okay, one or two. People who do not know, what do you think an anime pilgrimage is? Yes? Pardon? An anime, yeah, it's something along those lines. Yes, I saw another hand in the back.
Seeing real-life sites that inspired anime.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. It is the visitation of a sacred site in anime. So in Japanese, they call them seichi, which literally means sacred site, which I think is really cute and funny. But we call them pilgrimages. And obviously, these stairs from your name are the biggest example of them. And a lot of them are very mundane places. You go to Japan, you go to these sites, you dick around for a little bit, you go home. It's pretty cut and dry, but there's actually a lot more to it than that. It's a big industry. There is an entire tourism board that exists for it. It's called the Anime Tourism Association. They have 88 locations in Japan that get nominated every year as pilgrimage sites, and then you can go to them, and it's like a big stamp rally, I think, which is, honestly, I don't really see the point of it. Like, why would you do a giant stamp rally across the entire country? Is what I thought, and then I thought about it for a lot longer, and I'm like, I am exactly the type of person that would do a giant stamp rally across an entire country. Hell yeah. So like it is a completely instated thing. They put together tour itineraries. They put together all sorts of different resources for you to locate things. They have a neat website. There's a database of all of these locations in anime. It's very well put together. So you have a lot of resources for starting out when you want to locate these things. But honestly, an anime pilgrimage is functionally a vacation. And I think that's what makes it the most fun, is because if you like going on vacation and you like anime, you can bring those two together and you can have a great time. And the best part about it is that it doesn't actually need to be in Japan. We know that anime covers a diverse range of stories. We know that there are all sorts of different locations in anime. And while I can't say you can visit any like fantasy anime locations, I can absolutely say you can go to places like Niagara Falls, which have been in a couple anime. We will get back to that picture, I promise. All right, so let's go through the format of this presentation. A lot of it is going to be me presenting a point, and then I'll probably present a travel story related to that point. Pay attention, because I have many prizes at the front. We'll be doing a trivia contest at the end. You can win some of my art for free. They feature places in Vancouver, done in this very nice, bubbly, colorful style. One more thing I wanted to preface before we really get into the meat of it is that I am not a photographer, and I am not a graphic designer, and I am very sorry because that will manifest in this presentation. You know that meme where the girlfriend takes great photos and the boyfriend takes like the worst? I am the boyfriend. I take the worst photos. They all suck. So you will probably know which are my photos and which are Google photos when you look at this. All right, let's get into it. One disclaimer. Japan is not a theme park. You obviously know all the stories. You know, Logan Paul, very famous, went to Japan, fooled around, got arrested. There was the person who defaced the Meiji Jingu Shrine. People like assume that Japan, they can just go and they can do what they want. But I want to remind everyone that when we are talking about this, this is a real place that real people live, and we should not treat these historical, sometimes historical sites like tourist attractions. Just because an anime happens to happen in, say, a temple does not make that temple cater to your specific needs of tourism. So that is something I really wanted to emphasize. So I see a lot of tourists sort of treating Japan as a very marketable thing. And to be fair, Japan's government leans into that, but we do want to be cognizant that this is a real place where real people live. Okay, let's talk about the not fun part first, which is budgeting. You will be spending a lot of money on your anime pilgrimage. I am so sorry. That is just the way that it's going to be. A vacation to Japan is expensive. It will continue to get increasingly more expensive. So you want to set aside a good chunk of money. And then whatever money you set aside, you want to set aside more money, because so many unexpected things will happen. Now, I am a very meticulous planner. I take lots of notes. I plan down my day to the hour. But so many unexpected things still happen. And I think it is important to keep that in mind. It depends on your style, right? Some of you may like to go all out. Some of you are the type to spend $700 on a dress. I like that. I would do that too if I had the cash. Some of us like to spend very conservatively. We're okay not going to the biggest restaurants. We're okay to like share a room with 10 other roommates. That's fine. Still set aside reserve money, because you will be hemorrhaging it by the hour. The Konbini and Yoshinoya are your friends. The Konbini being convenience store, Yoshinoya being this very budget-friendly chain. I know it's not the healthiest of food, but you can get a nice beef bowl for like the equivalent of 6 CAD, and I think that's a good deal, because what can 6 CAD get you here? And there's no shame in eating at the cheap places, is what I'm trying to say. And if it means that you can spend a little bit more money on your pilgrimage doing the things you want to do, go for it. Is that a hand?
How much money do you recommend us, to save for Japan?
I would say it depends for everybody. It depends on the season, right? Summertime tickets are more expensive. It depends where you're going. Tokyo is fairly expensive to go to, as opposed to like if you're going to some rural town in the middle of nowhere. But I would say when it comes to reserve, whatever you budgeted, add 30%. Okay. Do pack a little extra money, and I don't mean in credit cards, I mean in cash, because you are not immune to bad luck. Bad things happen all the time. Just as an example, there was the one time I went to Tokyo, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go for 5 days. I'm going to go back to Hiroshima, and it's going to be great. I finish my 5 days in Tokyo, and then the Shinkansen derails. There's nothing you can really do about that. And if the Shinkansen is down, then everything is down, and you can't travel. So I ended up crashing with a friend. And, stuff like that happens. An extra day of meal compounds, an extra day of hotel compounds. You want to have that reserve money so that you will be ready. Okay, let's talk about things to do when you reach your sacred site, wherever that may be. Take photos. How is anyone going to know that you went to this site, that you paid all of this money, and did all of this terrible budgeting, and bedangled your spreadsheets, if you don't take photos? Go edit your photos if you want. Make it look exactly like the anime. And when I say take photos, there are all sorts of different photos that you can take. Very popular among young people is nuidori, which is to take a photo of your stuffed animals. I know you all have stuffed animals. You are all anime fans. We have one in our closet at least. Take the one that's relevant to your series. Go to the place, take the photo. It's nice to have a little travel buddy, and the benefit of having that is that it contextualizes the scene, because a lot of these pilgrimages will be in these sort of city streets where you can't really tell it's an anime unless you have that context going in. And the stuffed animal is probably the best subject for this, because if you're bringing a figure, that figure's going to get cracked. The stuffed animal can probably endure a lot of damage. You can punch it, you can snap it, it will come back together. You can recreate the scene. You can stand in the exact camera angle where the scene happens, and then you can take the picture. Obviously, this depends on a lot of things. It depends a lot on weather. Everyone thinks they're going to go to Japan, and they're going to recreate their favorite scene from their favorite anime, and then it's raining. And it will rain a lot. That's fine. It's honestly even cooler to see these places in a new light. I got lucky with this picture. It's also kind of funny if you're a solo traveler like me. I love solo travel, because then a lot of the time you're going to be finding the nearest pole and propping your phone down and hoping no one takes it. And, it's Japan, so no one does. But when I say recreate scenes, do be aware that Japan follows a very stringent set of social norms. You don't really want to stand out. If you're with a group of people, it's more okay. But if you're by yourself, it's really weird. And you just don't want to make people uncomfortable. We want to respect people there, and they're very socially conscious. There is a conception about cosplay laws. Cosplay publicly in Japan is not illegal, but you get very weird looks. And I know the culture is to not go out in cosplay. You guys don't know Comic-Con, right? Comic-Con is their biggest convention. And even if their equivalent of our Anime Expo, people go in regular clothes, they change inside the convention, they have changing rooms dedicated, and then they'll go out in their cosplay, and when they're done, they'll change back out of that. So I would advise against cosplaying your character unless it is a very simple character that you can budget closet cosplay. If there is a thing, do the thing. For example, there's this bar in Ginza called Bar Lupin. Famous author Dazai Osamu drank there a lot, drank himself to death. Took this very famous photo there. You can do the thing, and it's fun. Other things, if your anime has a signature pose for a character, you can take that in front of the locations. I think the best story for me about doing the thing was, has anyone here seen Suzume? Show of hands. Okay, that's more people than I thought. That's good. If you don't know, in Suzume, the whole thing is about monsters that come out of doors, and they recreated one of the door over here. I went to the store, and in the movie, there's a specific ritual that you have to do to shut the door. And there were these two guys, also tourists, also there at the same time. And then they were chanting the prayer. And I was just watching them sitting under a tree. And then the guy was like, "What's the line?" And then I shouted the line from across the tree. And they're like, "Thank you." And then we took this photo. And it's really wholesome. People are there to have fun. If you can find other people at the location who seem like they're also into it, it's always really fun to do the thing. And it's also fun to do the thing by yourself if you're into that. I agree it takes a lot of social finagling and strength to be able to do the thing by yourself, especially if it's very elaborate. But if it's just a pose, go for it. All right. Do explore the surrounding areas. Because I think when it comes to anime production, we're limited to a certain set of backgrounds, we're limited to a certain number of shots, but there is other stuff. If you've ever wanted to know what was behind the camera, you can now turn around. And I know turning around doesn't sound very interesting, but it is actually very fun to be able to look at the geography of the place compared to the shot and be like, oh, that's where this thing is. And it's also cool because it contextualizes the place. You come to realize, okay, this is a real place with real history. People live here, people work here, and I think that makes the series more real the next time you go back to it. You can also explore things that are close to the area. For example, there's a museum dedicated to Attack on Titan in Kita, which is where the author grew up, and it's pretty fun. But across from the museum, there is a Sapporo brewery. It recreates a 1920s Japanese tavern. I don't know why this exists, because it's on the top of a mountain where no one goes. Why is there a tourist brewery? But it's so fun. I don't even drink that much beer. I've never drunk Sapporo, but I can say I went straight from the Attack on Titan Museum to the 1920s Japanese bar recreation. And then I learned about how beer is made. So that's fun. Other stories. Close to the Suzume door, like literally down the street, there is a shop, and it is a sports store, but it is full of Love Live merchandise. Like, it is lined wall to ceiling with just like posters and stuffed animals and figures from Love Live. And I'm like, why? And the lady's like, oh, it's because Love Live happened in this town. So now you know Suzume and Love Live happened in the same town. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Do you watch Love Live? And she's like, no, I kind of resent it, actually. And it was great. She gave me an ice cream, and we got to talk about how the tourism industry affects certain sectors of the economy. Getting lost is also fun. And I say get lost with an asterisk. Like, get lost within the general 100 meters, 200 meters of where you are. Because you will find beautiful vistas like this. Like, this is the one photo I'm pretty proud of on that trip. And Japan is a beautiful country. If you wander for long enough, you will find something that will take your breath away. And then you'll find things that will take your breath away in different ways. I still don't know what this is. I was just walking, and it was there, and it was going, I don't know. But that's the fun of it. And you realize, oh, as much as we imagine one story to happen in this sacred site, there are all these different stories that are happening all over the place. All right, so now we know what to do when we get to our sacred sites. Let's talk about how we'll get there. Welcome to the wonderful world of Japanese transport. Can I get my TransLink bros? Give me a... Save the bus, am I right? Save the bus! All right. The most common thing you're going to be using is the JR company. That's Japan Rail. JR is not one company. It is divided by region. And I think this is important because there are certain things that do not carry over. So don't be surprised when you might have to rebuy a pass or something. It usually won't happen, though, because the different JR branches are very good at talking to one another. The main thing that you will use to get around the JR network is your IC card. That's your Suica, your EcoCuz. One card should work for most of the country. For example, if you get a Suica card in like the Tokyo region and you go all the way down to Chigoku, you can probably still use it. I don't know if this is exactly true because I used the EcoCuz card, which is for the region that I was living in, and it worked fine in Tokyo. So the different regions are pretty good at communicating about that. There is generally a lot of cross-connection between the different branches of JR. So people are like, okay, what card should I get? Do I get Suica? Do I get EcoCard? Just get the IC card that is at the nearest JR station, and you should be able to navigate most of the network without any problems. There is a 500 yen deposit fee, the last time I remember, and that's fine. 500 yen is like 350 because the economy is so bad. It is a fee that you can swallow. But if you do not want to pay a deposit fee, there is a tourist card that you can use. This took an embarrassingly long time to understand, so I'll just tell you now. They are called IC cards. These cards with the chips, they're called IC cards. I know this sounds basic, and it probably is, but it took me like days to figure this out, and no one told me. So I'm telling you this now on the off chance. When you are on a Japanese train, do be quiet. You do not talk on the Japanese train. You do not play music on the Japanese train. You can put on headphones and listen to music. You can text your friends. You do not take phone calls. You do not talk to your friends. It's just the social custom. Okay, let's play a fun game. Let's say you're in Japan. You walk into a train. Where do you sit? Anyone want to gander? Yes.
On the side.
On which side?
That side.
This side? All the way there. Yes. Why do we sit there?
Hold on, I had to answer.
Pardon?
Sorry, I had to answer.
Oh, sorry. Why are we sitting on the left side or all the way on the right side? Why? Yes.
Train gets super cramped, so we want to make it more space.
Yes, that is correct. Okay, next exercise. Assume someone is sitting here and here. Where are you sitting? Yes.
You don't, you stand up.
Ah, very good. But assume that you would like to sit. Assume that it is 40 degrees out and you are stressed. And assume that there are no old people on the train that you feel bad for. Or assume that you don't feel bad for old people. I don't know. You're sitting over here. You are putting as much distance as you can between other people. They do not care about you. You do not care about them. It is okay. It's just a fun exercise. Okay, let's move on. The Passmo card. I'm honestly still not quite sure why this thing exists. So if someone after the panel can tell me, I would really appreciate that. Because it's functionally the same as an Eco-Ka or a Suica or whatever other IC card that JR offers, but it's just different. I don't know why it's different. This is the one that you can find at most airports. So if you're at the airport and you need a card in a pinch, you can get this one. It has no deposit fee, and amusingly, if you're a tourist, they give you a Hello Kitty themed one, which I think is really cute. It also does indicate that you're a tourist, so I like to, not because I'm ashamed of Sanrio, but because I don't want to be pegged as a tourist, I very discreetly beep until I can get an Eco-Ka or a Suica or whatever it is. Yeah, there's no deposit fee for a Passmo. But again, if you cannot afford to leak $350, I don't know what I should be telling you, but maybe save a little more money before you go on this trip. Okay, Shinkansen. Using the Japan Rail, will be moving in between different places within the cities. But what if you want to move from city to city or even prefecture to prefecture? You're using the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train. Everybody loves the bullet train. There are three main types on the Tokaido. The Tokaido is the train line that goes from Tokyo all the way down to somewhere in Kyushu. If there's a map of Japan. We're going from here down to here, so it's half the country. And then you also have the Tohoku Shinkansen, which goes up. But mostly all the interesting stuff is on the Tokaido, which is the one I rode most often. So you got three lines. You have the Nozomi, the Hikari, and the Kodama. They vary by speed. How do they vary by speed? They vary by the amount of stops that they stop at. So the Nozomi goes super fast because it stops at the least amount of stops. And in return, the Kodama stops at the most amount of stops. Honestly, it is a difference of 45 minutes. So assuming that you're not too busy, I wouldn't stress it too much. Just catch the one that is quickest. Do note that if you're going during Obon, which is a big festival, they do sometimes change the trains to reservation only. That's fine. You can get a reserve pass at the station, and they're pretty efficient about it. I wouldn't sweat it. But if you really are very granular, you can always go online and reserve a pass. Shinkansen is very expensive because it is moving in between prefectures. It's around from Tokyo to Hiroshima one way. And just to help you visualize that distance. Tokyo to Hiroshima is this length of the country. That's $200 about. So you can do the math for that. There are some people that take Shinkansen to work because the Shinkansen has a lot of networks in between Yokohama and Tokyo. That's fine. That's a lot cheaper than going from Hiroshima to Tokyo. I would consider getting a JR Rail Pass. The JR Rail Pass lasts for 1, 2, or 3 weeks. They give you hotel discounts, and if you're into free hand towels, they also give you that. You get discounts on some transport. How much is the JR Rail Pass? Oh, also, the JR Rail Pass, it's $400 flat fee, and it gives you unlimited Shinkansen for the duration that you have it. Do not get the JR Rail Pass if you won't be spending more than $400 on Shinkansen tickets. Simple math. I recommend you memorize the Tokaido Shinkansen line, and I recommend this if you are moving in between prefectures often, because if you get lost or if you miss your local shuttle bus, you can always try to find the nearest Shinkansen station and finagle it that way. It sounds very daunting to memorize an entire line, but if you know all the stops on the Canada line, it's really not that much more complicated. Here are all the stops. There really aren't that many. Okay, and you notice all the cities that people talk about are here. You got Tokyo, you got Kyoto, you got Osaka, they're all here. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no! It always does this, every time. Dare I hit reload? Yes, there we go, okay. No, oh. Wait. That's weird. Oh, okay. If getting a view of Mount Fuji is really important to you, then reserve something in D or E row. I tried to do this. I did not get it. I have ridden the Shinkansen more times than I can count. I did not get Mount Fuji's view for a single one, and the one time that I was in E row, it was cloudy. So, God, I'm tired. Okay, taxis. Let's talk about, let's talk about taxis. Taxis are taxis. Uber isn't really a thing in Japan except in Tokyo in some limited capacity. So if you really need to get somewhere and you're out of options, take a taxi. It's probably going to be S-Ride. They are black. They look like this. It's a taxi. Don't be afraid to use them. I've certainly used taxi more time than I can count. This is why it also helps, like, if your phone dies, my phone has died multiple times on me during my trips. It helps to kind of know where the big spots in the city that you are in is so that you can just tell the taxi driver, oh, take me to Tokyo Station or something. You can also attempt to rent a car. You probably won't need to, because if I've gone into enough detail about Japanese transportation, you can tell it is a very intricate system. You can probably get everywhere you need to go without having to drive. Okay, distances. Distances are fun. Japan is not a very large country. It is about the size of this province, but it is very dense. A lot of people do live here. And you will underestimate how difficult it is to go from one end of the country to another. And to illustrate that, I will break down a single day. This is not loading on the big screen, so I'm just going to do it like this, so that's okay. Okay, so during my pilgrimage, I wanted to get from Beppu, which is in Fukuoka, all the way to Kobe. That is this length of the country. It is a considerable distance. It is so considerable that if you zoom out all the way on Google Maps, you can draw your finger on the country. And the images are not loading. That's great. Okay. So I woke up at 6 a.m. in Beppu, and I took the local train up to the port station, because I could have taken the Shinkansen all the way here, but in the movie Suzume, they take a ferry, so I knew I had to take the ferry. Okay, non-negotiable, that's fine. Take the ferry. I get to the port around 10 a.m. And by the port, I really mean the station closest to the port, so it is another sweltering walk in 40-degree heat. There are going to be a lot of these. But it's okay, like the sun is still coming up. It's not the hottest that it can be. Okay, I get to the ferry at 10 a.m. And then I board it, and I get off here. Now I'm walking for another 20 minutes in a 35+ degree heat to get to a local train. There was a bus that would take me directly from the port to the train station. I did not catch this bus because it runs like once per hour, because these are not Tokyo. These are small towns. If you miss your bus, you're screwed. That's fine. I hope you enjoy walking. If you take anything from this, it's really reconsider if you want to visit Japan in the summer. Okay, so I get on to that train, and we go all the way here. At 3 p.m., I transfer from one car of the train to another car of the train. Why did they make us do this? I don't know. But it happened, and then we were on our way. And we were going to Hakata. And it's really cool. There's this like nice bridge, and you can like see the waves under you. I was reading the novelization of Suzume on this, and she was talking about when she went on this exact bridge. And I was reading that as I was on the bridge. These sorts of magical moments do make the pilgrimage worth it. All right. But as you can see, my mental state is steadily decreasing. We were going from that to that, and now we go to this. Because when I get to Hakata at 7 p.m., I take the Shinkansen to Kobe, and if this picture would load, it would show you the most depressing rainy sight you've ever seen. And at this point, I am very tired. You don't know how exhausting sitting on multiple forms of transit is, but it's not fun. Okay. 8 p.m. I get to Kobe. I'm wiped out. This was an extremely stressful day, and a lot of these methods were not quite reliable. The reason why we had to do all of this is because there aren't that many connected networks in this part of the country, so you really have to finagle it. But to my credit, I did go through all of Shikoku in a matter of 5 hours, and that's an entire major island of Japan. Now, none of these procedures are very remarkable on their own. Local train, get on another train. But if I missed any single one of these, because these are the sort of things that run not very frequently, I would have been stranded, and this extremely delicate chain of events would have completely crumbled like a house of cards. I would have lost money on replacement tickets. I might have had to stay in any one of these towns overnight, hotels, etc. You book all these things in advance. If you don't make it onto the train, you have to book another ticket. And not to mention your most valuable resource, which is time. You lose time. So basically what I'm trying to say is, don't do what I did. Don't daisy chain together all of these things that you could absolutely fail at doing and then do all of them. Because I got cocky. I thought I could do this. Having planned this one when I was still planning this trip, right? And having successfully executed it, I thought I could skimp on my research and simply do the same thing you get from Tokyo to Miyagi. How far is it from Tokyo to Miyagi? Does anyone know? It is far. It is far. It is way further than this. Yes.
Okay, so it's a really fast, one of the fast trains, 2 hours?
It was 2 hours, but there was a very specific town in Miyagi that I wanted to visit in a very specific football field.
3 hours.
5 hours.
The Google Maps quoted me 7 hours. Because, the brunt of it, usually what will happen when you're navigating Japan is you'll go in 1 hour, and then it'll take 5 hours to go from here to here, because there's just so many networks and things and local trains. And again, these are remote places in towns that a couple people live in. Not all of these are going to be great places. Okay, so I thought I could do that, get from Tokyo to Miyagi. Everybody point at this fool and laugh. He could not do it. He failed. Ha ha, he failed so bad. I got to Tokyo Station at 6 a.m. and the train left and it would not go again until the late afternoon. And I was like, man, if I take that train, I am not getting back. And I had Disneyland tickets the next day. I could not go to Miyagi. And for that reason, I could not complete my Suzume pilgrimage. Which leads me to my next point, which is adaptability. Plans can change, and that's okay. It's still not loading, that's fine. I want to be very clear about this. There are going to be things that will go wrong in your pilgrimage. I already told you about that story where the Shinkansen derailed. There was another story where I was going to go back in Tokyo a separate occasion, and then a typhoon hit, and then I lost my phone. Plans can change, and it is not your fault. What is under your control is how you respond. It does help to be able to get a guide of the city. Google is your best friend. It helps to be able to look up replacement activities for when your plans inevitably go wrong, and they will at some point. The biggest thing is to remember to be fast and flexible. I know that it is not a trait that manifests in all of us, least of all me, because I get very emotional, but it does help to be able to, okay, something went wrong, that's fine, I accept it, what can I do now? Instead of being like, man, I missed this train, and now I can't go to this sacred site that I've been planning for months and months. You can mitigate this with additional research. You can mitigate this by having a good attitude. So, the day that I missed the train to Miyagi, Suzume has a big theme of disaster relief. So, I planned a trip to a bunch of disaster memorials around Tokyo, which is where I got stranded. It was a very emotional trip. I learned a lot. I took these photos of these statues that got broken in an earthquake quite a while ago. And I think that was a suitable replacement. The thing is, even if things don't go exactly according to your plan, you're still going to have a great time. It's still your Japan trip. And everything that you do will be meaningful to you because you planned for it and you experienced it. And they might even be more meaningful to you because you were able to replan on the fly. Another thing I did on that day was I just went to Shinkai Makoto's office. I didn't go inside. I just stood outside of it like a creep. But it does help if you're stranded in Tokyo. Like, I ended off my day by going to the JoJo bar. Nothing quite drains your sorrows away like drinking it away in the JoJo bar. It's great. Like, you got all these drinks, and they're all named after quotes in the series, so you can be like, it was me, Dio, and they'll give you a cocktail. Now, granted, it's like the same cocktail, but it's still fun. Which leads me to my next point. Oh, also, if you're wondering what this is, they serve like shrimp chips, but it's like fingernail themed. And if you've seen JoJo, you know what this is. And it comes with a fake hat. It's so good. Okay. My next point is that Tokyo is built different. And I saw fit to reserve an entire slide for this because it really is. You're going to see a lot of reels and TikToks about how, oh, Japan is living in 2030. And it's true. Only in Tokyo. Do not assume that anything you read about Tokyo applies to the rest of Japan. Oh, they got robots only in Tokyo. And when I mean Tokyo, I mean like only in the bougie parts of Tokyo. Are you going to assume anything about downtown Vancouver is true for the rest of Vancouver? It's like that, but way worse. So don't be that guy. Don't be that guy who sends all the reels to your friends and you're like, oh, we can do all this. And then all of them is Tokyo. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Tokyo is built different. Tokyo is the exception to everything you read about Japan, both good and bad. Okay, so let's talk about places to go. Tokyo. There's so many anime that happen in Tokyo. And it's great because Tokyo is built different. Hell yeah. Well, we're on the wrong timeline, obviously.
Oh no.
No, is it the wrong timeline or the right timeline? Maybe it's like the good timeline where it doesn't. Anyway, sorry.
I don't remember.
It's been too long since I've seen Steins Gate. I should rewatch it. But basically, Radio Kaikan, it is the main location in this anime, Steins Gate. Great anime. It's about time travel. Very good. Radio Kaikan is also a 10-floor anime shop. It has everything. So if you want a great experience, if you only have 2 hours to experience Akihabara, just go to Radio Kaikan. It's great. Tsukujinja! It's those darn stairs! You know the stairs. I know the stairs.
Faraday's a tourist spot.
It is. It really is. You get it. You get me. You can go to Sensoji. Not only is Sensoji a historically significant temple, but a lot of anime have happened there. Even though it wasn't in Demon Slayer specifically, the Entertainment District arc of Demon Slayer happens in this area, so it's great to visit, and it's also great to see all the campaigns that the tourism boards are running. If you like Evangelion, there is the Small World Museum in Tokyo. Now this is kind of cheating, because it's not really like a place that was pre-built. It was specifically built for tourists, but it is basically a miniature recreation of the entire city in Evangelion. And if you're wondering, oh, does it do the thing? Yes, it does the thing. It does the thing where the whole city like sinks down. It is really cool. And the best part is that like it's on like a 10-minute cycle, so you can just watch the sun rise and set endlessly. And then you can see the Avas and they go in and out. It's really cool if you like putting your head down to a table like this and imagining you're really small. I think that counts as an Evangelion pilgrimage. I had fun at Small World Tokyo. Okay, other places that aren't Tokyo. Who likes Keion? You're so right! Keion is great, and you can visit the school. It's in Shiga. It's a Toyosado Elementary School. I think the director actually went there. Pardon?
It's an elementary school?
It is an elementary school, yes. It used to be. It's actually now a community center. So around half of it is roped off to just the residents of that town, and then half of it is a tourist location. You can go up to the club room. They got all the standees. You can put on the uniforms. You can draw on their blackboard. it's great. Like all the details from K-On! Are there. And the best part is because no students actually go there, you don't need to worry about being disruptive. You can go into a real, come in. You can go into a real, authentic Japanese high school and you can experience authentic Japanese high school life, or at least to the point it was before it got shut down, which I think was a couple years ago. There is the fish scale house. Any fake fans with us? You're so right! And this illustration is a great example of the things that local tourism boards have done. People have recently really leaned into using anime to promote historically significant places. So not only do you get to go to the Mato house, but you also get to see these collab illustrations and possibly collab merch, which is always fun because it really makes visiting that place that much more special. Especially if you're like me and you have a spot in your research and you don't know the thing is there, and you go and you see it and you're like, oh, that's great. Because sometimes you will know that, like, in your research, you'll know, oh, they're doing this collaboration event. But if you don't know, that's even more fun. There was the port in Yaotamaha, and they had the Recreation Suzume door that they set up. I didn't know about that. No one knew about that. It was created by a bunch of middle schoolers, and they got a permit from the city to put up a Recreation Suzume door, and that was great. I had no idea. And it's these fun surprises that, again, make this sort of trip so magical and why I would recommend doing it. If you're in Shizuoka, why not visit the entire city of Hakone, which is the model for, again, the city in Evangelion. So now you see the city from afar, now you can actually go into the city. This is just hilarious to me. It is an Evangelion-themed toilet. You want to go to the Eva-themed public bathroom? I think that alone is worth booking a ticket to Japan, flying out. What do they call it? The Joint Public Lavatory Project. I have no idea.
I like the lines film, started taking pictures of every part of the room.
Possibly, yeah.
You're holding it in, but
You're holding. Yeah, no, do you think people will drink coffee and then go there specifically to piss in the Ava toilet?
Yes.
Do you think people will dump Fanta in the Ava toilet? I wouldn't. There's again, Japan is not a theme park, and people who do this are the reason why I need to put that in this presentation. If you're in Gifu, just go to Shirakawa, which is the model setting of Hinamizawa from Higurashi. Anyone seen Higurashi? My neck's itchy, guys.
I don't know Higurashi, but I've been to Shirakawa.
You have now.
I have been.
How was it?
It was great. And it was snowing.
It was snowing. So instead of the 40-degree heat, you had that 0-degree experience.
The snow view is better.
Ooh, okay. Snow view is better.
Yes.
That does bring me to another point, which is going at a different season than when your anime is set in is great because you get to see the town from a different perspective. And again, it reminds you that this is a real place where real people live, and that enriches the entire experience of being a fan. Okay. If you are in Saitama, it's the bridge. It's the bridge from Anohana. Go to the bridge. Listen. Put on some headphones. Listen to the song. There's a river underneath. You can add to the river's water level. It's gonna be great. If you're in Ehime, go to Dogo Onsen. So some of these places are locations selected in anime that existed beforehand. This thing obviously existed beforehand, but it was the base model for the very famous bathhouse in Spirited Away. And it's great to go to these inspiration places to see, okay, where does this derive from this? And you can imagine you're an animator and you're looking at this and looking, how do we push this concept? How do we make this more exaggerated? What do we take from it? What do we leave? And that is also really fun. Anime meets reality, and it is the most interesting thing. But I would think the best place to visit would simply be the random streets. And you laugh, but it's true. Because all of these majestic places don't really compare, right? I can name anime that I've seen. I can name anime that you've seen. But you probably already have, if you stuck around for this long, a place that you want to go to. An anime that you've seen, that you like, that is special to you. And it might just happen on a random road. It doesn't need to happen anywhere great. It might not even be a tourist attraction. It could be a gas station for all I know. And that's important. Because it's significant to you, and you have that experience. The beauty of random streets is that it shows real... God. I'm so done. The beauty of the beauty of random streets that it shows the real Japan. I think a lot of the times when you're planning a vacation, you take out your guidebooks, you go on Google, you search up top places to go in Japan, and there's a sort of feeling of everything's been discovered already, right? Because if it's in a guidebook, then people already know, other people have read that guide, other people are going to, but far fewer people are simply going to these random streets. They're significant only to you because you've seen these shows. They're significant only because you have that emotional connection to them. And that's something so special. Like, how many things in this world can you really say that you yourself own? And it incentivizes you to explore. It incentivizes you to go off the beaten path. It incentivizes you to go to places that tourists don't usually go to. Like, if you want to see the real Japan and you don't know where to start and you don't really feel like wandering around some random person's neighborhood, there you go. And I think there's something beautiful about that. Okay, if you want to locate a place, scan this QR code. It will take you to the Anime Pilgrimage site. It is the database of 88 spots that have been pre-approved by the Japan Tourism Board. It's great. Well scanned? I will move on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, moving on. I also wanted to talk about themed towns because, okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Get a load of this, guys. Has anyone heard of Conan Town? Okay, anyone here heard of Detective Conan? He's pretty big, case closed, right? He's super famous. About the guy who turns into a little kid, he's a detective, like everyone's seen it at some point. They made an entire town based on this. Not even One Piece has that amount of soft power. Can you imagine, like, you were born in this town, and then at some point, the mayor is like, by the way, we want to rebrand our entire town around your life work. What do you even do in that situation? I don't know how I'd respond, yes?
People live there?
People live there.
Can I say my address is Conan Town?
You can say your address is Conan Town.
Does it have another name?
It does. I think the other name is Totori. But it's also colloquially referred to as Conan Town.
You can flex with this by saying, yo, I'm from Conan Town.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm from Richmond. Which Richmond was named after a real guy, so I guess that actually tracks. So you're gonna have all these statues of Conan around the place. The trains are Conan themed. You have the bad guys in front of like government buildings. I don't know what they're trying to say there. It's very interesting. Can you and this is where I have to again reiterate, Japan is not a theme park. And when you go to a town that has theme parkified itself, that is so important for you to remember that across the street a real person lives there and they're probably sick of Conan. Like more specifically, they're probably sick of his butt because they see it all day out their window. Those poor guys, I'm so sorry. Oh, did it skip the video? Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Does anyone know Conan O'Brien? He's this American talk show host. His name is Conan O'Brien. He heard about Conan Town, and he started a beef with the mayor, which was documented in a long series of segments on his show, and is very entertaining. And I'll show you the video because I think it's the most hilarious thing. If it will load.
今日一日北栄町が盛り上がりました。その理由がこちらの男性、アメリカのケーブルテレビのトーク番組の司会者、コナン・オブライエンさんです。
名探偵コナンと同じ名前ということです。
目的はなんと賠償金3兆円。なかなか取材してきました。これに対して北栄町の松本昭夫町長は、まずは町に来るよう応戦しました。
I want you to bring 50,000 American hamburgers.
はい、どうなったのか取材してきました。鳥取砂丘コナン空港です。ここに間もなくアメリカのコナンがやってくるということなんです。私も出迎えてきます。空港にはすでにコナンさんに会いたいという人が待っていました。ご自身は
もちろん、日本でいうね、タモリさんクラスだから、さんまさん、タモリさん知ってた？
この日に
かしいですね。この時にところが予定の時刻になっても姿が見えません。
大変重大なお知らせがございます。コナンは間違えました。
Okay, a little bit of a problem. We went to the wrong airport, and now we're all jumping in 5 different cabs and rushing to Conantown. Be there soon.
Very nice to meet you. It's an honor. Honor. Hi, how are you? This is the Bill Nye of Japan. How are you?
Stay in the United States.
Very good.
During the Bush to the Clinton.
Oh, you pushed to Clinton, yes. You know, in America, we eventually let go of it. Eventually. You can let go and it's your fault. You have a vice-like grip. It'll be gone.
今日はこのオブライエンさんを一日保健所長に任命したいと思います。
I'm the mayor? Yes! I have a sense for you. You are now Miss Iowa. Miss Iowa. Because I am mayor for the day, I would like to make him Conan for the day. It's a good fit.
そこで町長からコナンさんに手渡されたのは3兆円と書かれた小切手。もちろん偽物ですが、コナンさんは
Excuse me? Yes, I want to cash this check. Tell him it's for 3 trillion yen. Yes, so I would like to cash this. No! I'll get you all! I'll be back!
しました。コナン駅こと由来駅にはこの人だかり。まもなく訪れるコナンさんと配られるハンバーガーを待っています。
In a triumph of international cooperation, the burgers came from Australia, courtesy of the Aussie Beef Guys.
皆様、今日は私にとって特別な日になるでしょう。That's all I can do in Japanese. I traveled 6,000 miles to be here. The mayor only traveled 25 meters. We gather here today to agree that I am the real original Conan. You have been worshiping a false god. But I forgive you. The mayor's hand is on my bottom. And he's not moving it.
ということで平和的解決に終わったと。
I want to bring up a point in this video, which is that you will recall that Conan went to the wrong airport, and if Conan O'Brien, with his like multimedia team of marketers and researchers and all the funding from the American people can do that, then things will go wrong for you too. But it will be fine. You'll have a great time. Conan O'Brien can go on an anime pilgrimage and have fun. You can too. What a strange world we live in. There's more. Anyone know Hita? Anyone like Attack on Titan? Oh yeah.
Isn't this where Isayama was born?
Yes, this was where he was born. Actually, he was born in a small mountain village off of Hita, but it's okay. It's basically the same town. All of downtown Hita, and by downtown Hita, I mean like a tiny little station, because it is a small town, is decked out in Attack on Titan stuff. You have these banners of Armin saying, "I've sworn to bathe in the hot springs of Hita." It's great. You'll have this the colossal Titan as a mural on these windows, which is just crazy. You step out of the station and that's the first thing you see. They made an ARG app for it. It's really great. You have these cutouts in this one specific hotel that I was staying in. It's just hilarious because Erwin here is saying enjoy your shopping, and Levi here is saying enjoy your food, or the food is tasty, which I think is really hilarious to be promoting culinary tourism in a series whose main mechanic revolves around cannibalism. You'll also have the dam, and apparently this is what inspired the wall. I don't know if it's true or not. It is a massive, gigantic dam. I have been there. I took the wrong exit. It was a 40-minute walk, 40-degree heat again. I ended up on the top of the dam, which is beautiful, mind you. You can see the lake from everywhere. I hiked for another 20 minutes down the mountain on a single road. There was no one. It was the same road as the cars. Went down to the bottom, took this picture. I am not a photographer. It was great. And they have the bronze statues of the main characters. Okay, let's talk about places in Canada. Because let's say going to Japan is too expensive for you, it's too logistically difficult, you don't speak enough Japanese, that's fine, that's good, okay. Let's just go to Canada. Let's just have a sacred pilgrimage in our backyard. What the heck does that look like? I will tell you. This doesn't really count, this is just a joke slide, but I made an illustration of UBC, and I felt fit to tell you that you are doing an anime pilgrimage into my own work. Okay, let's talk about the real big goose. How many people have seen this video? Good! You are good! You are also good! I know you had to watch it. Yeah. Yes, this was the Tourism Canada video.
Okay, but that was an intro video in another panel about the history of anime in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yes, Canadian Anime Hackers Minutes by Jesse Betteridge.
That's crazy. I have to go to it. If they do it again, let me know, because I want to see that. Sick! Alright. Everyone go to Annie Revo in hopes that you will see that panel. Okay, for those of you who don't know, for Canada's 150th anniversary, a bunch of filmmakers from across the world did different shorts to promote Canadian tourism, and this was what Japan submitted. And this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Wasn't that glorious? Let's watch it again. Let's watch again. You want to watch again? Let's watch again.
Wait, I think I saw you post on your Instagram story.
I have reposted this like so many times. So if you're thinking the style of this video looks similar, it's because it was directed by the director of Your Name, Shinkai Makoto, my favorite guy ever. For the SFU VTuber debut, they made an animated video, and they specifically made all of us watch this because this was the inspiration for the thing. And that was great because I'd already watched this like 1 billion times. It's like my favorite thing that Shinkai's ever made. I love it more than Suzume. And it's 30 seconds. I wish it was an hour, but it's not. But it is still anime. Like if you go on my anime list, it's there. You don't believe me, you can prove it to yourself right now, which means we can visit all of the places here. All right, let's talk about our pilgrimage across Canada, guys. We ready? Granville Island! Woo! I love Granville Island. Who doesn't love Granville Island? You got the shot from the market, the public market here, and you can go there. And as far as I'm concerned, all of the places featured are real places, and it's great. I don't know if it is this colorful, but it is still great. And that's like, what? Less than an hour from here? 30 minutes? I mean, it's like right there. You could do an anime pilgrimage like right after this if you really wanted to. The drop, which is even closer. It's right there. It's where Annie Revo happens. You've all seen this if you're a weeb. You've probably seen this if you're not a weeb. Because you live here. Oh, I'm sorry. Because you've been here. You presumably are here right now. I think this is hilarious. Like the scene in the video, because we Vancouverites would never do this. I don't know anyone in Vancouver who has like tried to do the tipping over the drop thing, and I don't know anyone in Vancouver who would like help out. The whole point of Warm Winter Canada is that Canadians are kind and they'll just go with the flow and they'll help out all these tourists. And I'm sorry, but we in Vancouver, we're so tired and we're so depressed. This is a lie, but we can believe. Also, there aren't enough Chinese people in this photo. It's okay. I can't blame Shinkai. If I make an anime, I'm gonna do it right. Everyone in Vancouver is gonna be super mean and super Chinese. Okay, the Studio Seat trailer. I'm so sorry. because I know like not even half of you have seen this, and it's great. We have not the self promo. Plug in. I don't know. Okay, well, it is anime enough, and it happened here. And I will show it to you now. And some people who worked in this trailer are in this room, and made them come here.
Do you force them to, or do they come by their will?
Shh, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to.
Bruh. Sorry. Who are you? Ayato. That's your name?
Ayato? Mo.
And Faye. Ayato.
Yup.
So now you've all seen it. That was like a month of my life. Anyway, I know like people like that are in this convention worked on that. Like at least like 5 or 6 of them are here. If you find them, let them know. Tell them they did a good job. They did a great job. Okay. We now go through all of the locations in this Vancouver anime. As the person who did the backgrounds, I feel the most qualified to talk about this. Patulo Bridge. You want to do a sacred pilgrimage to Patulo Bridge? I'm sorry, I did have to finagle the lighting of this shot to make it look a lot prettier than it was in real life. I'm sorry, it's actually not this pretty. But it's there, and you can drive across it, or take a picture of it from the SkyTrain. And if you go to SFU Surrey, you do that anyway. SFU Surrey!
It looks so much nicer than it actually is.
I don't know. I think it's pretty pretty. I've been there once or twice. It's nice. Yes?
Who lives in Surrey?
Pardon?
Yeah, every time I listen Burnaby, you chose Surrey.
No, to be fair, Surrey one is way prettier.
You can't do it for
I see we have a lot of contention about the Surrey. Good. If you want SFU Burnaby to be in an anime,
There is.
go study art for your entire life. Join an anime team. Make that anime. I want to see it happen. I'm not even saying that as a joke. Like I want an anime to go to SFU Burnaby. Like I want Gojo and Geto to break up inside SFU Burnaby. I want it so bad. Sorry, I saw a hand in the back. You and then you.
There is SFU Burnaby in Gundam.
Really? Which one?
But it's a live action movie.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna time out. We're gonna investigate this right now. Which Gundam? Because I did not know that. Okay, hold on. Shin Savior?
No, G Savior.
Oh, G Savior. Okay. You're kidding.
No, Wikipedia.
Are you serious?
See?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy crap! There aren't even any photos of it. What the heck? Okay, well, I guess I know what I'm doing tonight then. Great, it's beautiful. Okay, done. It's there. So we have the SFU VTubers and Gundam collab when? Yes.
As someone from Surrey, if you're a fan of Shoba's work, never meet your heroes. Like your work, don't go to SFU Surrey. It's better to work. I
disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly.
I'm an anti-Surrey advocate.
friendly fire? I completely don't, I know.
I love his work.
No, it's okay. I don't know, I draw it the way that I see it, you know, and I try to...
Thank you for romanticizing our shitty
That's
town.
why I'm here. You notice how there are no bullet holes in that picture for a reason. I know, someone posted this to Reddit, and the top comment was, "Where are all the druggies?" Science World! It's Science World. Again, like, do the thing at Science World. Okay, we're gonna move on. I'm gonna stop talking about myself. Another Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans. Who here has seen Iron-Blooded Orphans? Great peak show. Okay, I don't know why you're not on this. The main character, all of them, they walk around shirtless the whole time. And they're all hot. They're all hot men and women. Not the women aren't shirtless, but it's okay. It's a great show. And it just so happens that not like an insignificant scene, like the finale of the first season, like that entire arc happens in Edmonton. What a sentence to read. Edmonton is shut off by Gallahorn. You can see like they're doing the robot fight, and it's in Edmonton. Like you can go match these on Google Maps. Like it's right there. And it is the coolest thing ever. And Iron-Blooded Orphans is like a post-apocalyptic series where everyone is miserable and grungy and dirty, and that is exactly what Edmonton is like. So finally we have an anime that accurately portrays Canada. Buy the Gunpla Kids, yeah. If you have money to burn and you don't want to go to Japan, get into Gundam models. It's like plastic crack. Anna Green Gables, there is an upcoming movie. There are actually a surprising number of anime adaptations of Anna Green Gables, and I know I'm stretching here, but it still counts. And obviously, if you go to Prince Edward Island, like Anna Green Gables is like their only thing they got going. Like, who knows anything about PEI that's not Anna Green Gables? Movie looks good. Vinland Saga. It's true, because Vinland Saga happens in Newfoundland. So all of Vinland, I know it's mostly like deserted islands and the sea and mountains, but go to Newfoundland and pretend you're Leif Erikson. It's great. What's interesting is they also feature the Bealduck, which are an indigenous people in Newfoundland. And I think that is like, not only did an anime happen in Canada, but it featured an indigenous Canadian tribe. Like, how insane is that? It probably will never happen again. Except if we get Canadian anime creators. We need Canadian anime creators to get on this. Okay, don't murder me. I know. I'm of the mind that it was animated by White Fox. It passes all conventional definitions of an anime, and it also happens in Toronto. And you can also visit all of these locations. It's also a pretty good show. Okay, this one is interesting, because I don't know if most people have heard of this, but I just learned this like a couple days ago. There's this show on Disney+. It is an anime, released in Japan. It's called Undead Luck. Oh, sorry, Undead Unluck. Oh my god, sorry. Undead Unluck. The 20th episode of its 24 episode season happens in Vancouver, and the premise is that these protagonists are sent to Stanley Park to meet a contact, and then they have a fight with a monster there. And I think it's great. This is the manga. You can see it's Vancouver. It's the sales. I'm not crazy. That technically makes this the second time that this has appeared in an anime. I'm not crazy, guys. But to be very honest with you, when I saw this, I was genuinely kind of disappointed. And it's not because the art isn't good, it's gorgeous, but it's because they do this and then they don't do anything interesting with the setting. And I know that's not the fault of the show, but the show couldn't even get the geography or the geometry of the building right. This is supposed to be the convention center, right? Not only does it not slope, not only is there no drop, but what is this? Where are these arches in real life? Where's the street level? What is this? Because there's only two. And then if you look in the anime, you'll notice that this annex right here intersects with this convention center as if it was T-boning a straight wall, which is not the way that this works. In reality, this is it is an inclined wall, and then this is well behind it. So somebody probably took a Google Earth 3D model misinterpreted how this geometry works, and then drew this, so it is not an accurate portrayal in the slightest of this building. Which is a darn shame. I wouldn't be this granular about any other building, but this is the building that Annie Rivo happens. It's like Vancouver's biggest anime event. Look how they massacred my boy. And the fact that they use Stanley Park is great, but they don't have anything interesting from Stanley Park in this. They have this view, they have this going on, but throughout the entire episode, like, they reuse this background plane multiple times. And as an animation background artist, like, I feel qualified to talk about this. Look at over here. It is the same image. And it is, I checked most of the shots, it is the same image going all the way throughout. And when I saw that, I was like, man, I get it, because anime has a tight turnaround time. But it is just kind of disappointing to see, to squash out like all the character of our city. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy that this show took place in Vancouver. I think it's a great start, but I think it is just a start. And I think that if we, as Vancouverites, were to do a show, we could so much more accurately capture the spirit of our city. Am I asking Undead Unluck to accurately know, like this poor like Japanese like animation intern to accurately know about a city that they've never been to and they probably will never go to? No. What I'm asking for is that when we create these stories, for us here, that we are cognizant and that we are conscious of the way and the character of our city, that we can portray our unique culture. And I think that is something that only we Vancouverites can bring into the creative scene. Okay, let's move on. This is the last, yes?
You should pitch that to them and have them hire you.
I'll do my best. Okay, this is the last one. I guarantee none of you know about this. I literally just wanted to tell you it existed. This is the girl that plays, you know the snake girl from the Monogatari series? Hana Kanazawa? Kanazawa Hana, thank you. She did a thing where she plays a Canadian farm girl. If it wasn't called Canadian Families, and yes, it is Canadian with a K, you would not know it's Canadian. What about this screams Canadian? I don't know. Them Albertans are weird. The flannel. Pardon? I would assume that it is Alberta. There's nothing there, right? There's nothing there. Hey, there's nothing to go off. It's either Alberta or Saskatchewan, but Saskatchewan is more yellow, so it has to be Alberta. Yeah, Saskatchewan is yellow. You agree with me, right? Okay. So that brings me to my final sort of segment of this presentation, which is why. Why do an anime pilgrimage at all? And more specifically, why derail the last part of this presentation to talk about the scant few shows that have happened in this city? Those darn stairs. This will probably get very personal, but I have some beef with these stairs in Japan. If you guys haven't seen Your Name is a very famous, very emotional movie, great movie. The final scene happens on these stairs, and actually to this corner there's a shrine. The two characters reunite on these stairs, and everyone, like all the couples, they go to these stairs, they recreate this picture. Single people go to recreate this picture. People who are not people go. Nobody knows these stairs as stairs anymore. They attach not only this scene, but this entire movie to these stairs. And think about that. You as like a hypothetical sense, were so moved by this one piece of art that you would go all this way to a street in the middle of nowhere, to a shrine that no one goes to outside of New Year's, to a particular set of stairs that are completely unremarkable. And you would attach so much meaning to them, a place that you have never visited except in your imagination when you see this film, and you have such a deep connection to it because you remember how that piece of art made you feel. And I think there is something profound about that. I think it speaks to the way that media moves us. Because if not for Your Name, these would just be regular, random stairs. But because of Your Name, we are reminded about why we are all anime fans. That these stories that we consume, they move us. They inspire us to spend copious amounts of money. They emotionally invest us. And we tie our experiences to places. And I think that's why we should go to these random streets, these darn stairs, Stanley Park. Because we can now tie how we feel about these pieces of media. I will close with this. there is a tendency amongst us anime fans in Vancouver to assume that the stories are not here. And I'm not saying that anime should not be not Japanese. That would be preposterous. But we weebs assume that all the stories and all the interesting things, because of the media we consume, is happening somewhere over there. And that's simply not true. Because over there, they're looking over here. People like Hollywood movies in Japan. All those movies are filmed in Vancouver. All the VFX are done in Vancouver. Like, look it up. We have a huge film industry here. They see Vancouver in their media, and we see Japan in ours. And we don't recognize it. Interesting things are happening. People are like, okay, how can you romanticize Vancouver so much? And my response to that, my honest response to that is, how can you romanticize Japan so much? It's because you believe that the stories are there. And so I think the way to, like, Japanese people do not see Japan the way you see Japan. This is just a fact. To them, it is a place that they live. Simple as that. Probably even a bad place because the cost of living is so high and like Japan has like so many messed up social issues. We see Vancouver as just a place we live, and it's getting worse every day. Tariffs, and they're cutting transit, the homeless population increases, the fentanyl is still pouring in. How can we be positive about the place we live? How can you be positive about Japan? And it's because we don't see the stories here. With the Sia trailer, I tried to portray, oh, look at that, Tano and Yugi. I tried to portray Vancouver as a place where these anime stories happen. This is another plug for my work, and I'll keep it brief, but I'm working on a comic. It's 116 pages. It'll be out very soon. But it takes place in Vancouver. I tried to reference all real places in Richmond and Vancouver because I want to portray that this city is a place where those stories that we idolize also happen every day in equal amounts. And I think that's why it's so important for us Canadians to be invested in telling Canadian stories and to remember that these things that we idolize happen here all the time. And I think going to those places will remind us of that and to help contextualize that in our lives. And so go to Japan, go to Conan Town, spend millions of dollars or yen, or just go to Stanley Park and remember that stories happen here too. Okay, that is the end of my talk. Thank you. We are now going to move into the